Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to take a deep dive into something that's been on a lot of people's minds, housing affordability.
Definitely a hot topic, especially in places like South Florida.
Exactly. And to really get into the nitty-gritty, we're going to zero in on Palm Springs.
Wow.
We found this article that breaks down a real-life house sale, and it exposes all sorts of hidden costs.
Those hidden costs, man, they can really sneak up on you, especially if you're a first-time home buyer.
Absolutely. So to start, let's paint a picture of this Palm Springs property. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, sits on a decent lot, not too far from a library, and a playground. Seems pretty ideal for a family.
That's charming.
Right. And the price tag, $425,000.
At first glance, you might think, okay, not too bad.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But then you start peeling back the layers. Like you go on a site like Zillow, and they give you this estimate, like, oh, your monthly payment's going to be around $3,586. But what they often miss are things like property taxes and insurance.
Especially in a hurricane-prone state like Florida.
Okay, so let's unpack this property tax situation in Florida. What's the deal there?
So Florida law says whenever a house is sold, the property has to be reassessed at its current market value, which means if the previous owner bought the house, say, 10 years ago at a much lower price, they were paying taxes based on that old value.
Makes sense.
But when you come in and buy it at today's price, boom, your property taxes skyrocket.
Yeah, I'm starting to see where this is going. So, like in this case, Zillow estimated the property taxes to be around $563 a month. But when you look at what the county actually calculated, it's more like $663.25 a month.
Exactly. Over $100 more than what these online tools tell you. This is why it's crucial to go straight to the county records. Don't just rely on those estimates.
All right, so we've already uncovered one hidden cost. Now let's talk insurance. Zillow's throwing out a number like $105 a month for homeowners insurance. I mean, come on, this is Florida. Hurricane Central.
You're right to be suspicious. When it comes to places like South Florida with those hurricane risks, lenders aren't messing around. They require windstorm insurance on top of your regular homeowner's insurance. And let me tell you, that windstorm insurance can be a real budget killer.
Especially with climate change and all, I bet those premiums are only going up.
You got it. So for this house, our source dug up an online quote, and get this, it was over $10,000 a year.
You're kidding. That's over $849 a month just for insurance.
Crazy, right? And this quote probably came with a hefty deductible and minimal coverage, so the reality could be even worse.
All right, so let's do the math here. We've got $2,918 for the principal, interest, and PMI, which, by the way, is private mortgage insurance, something you might have to pay if your down payment isn't large enough. Then we add on the $849.92 for insurance and $663.25 for property taxes.
You're looking at a whopping $4,431.17 per month.
Yeah, way more than that initial estimate from Zillow. And we have even factored in stuff like utilities, potential HOA fees, all that jazz.
It all adds up, and this is where that debt-to-income ratio starts to rear its ugly head.
Yeah, basically, lenders use that ratio to figure out if you can actually handle the loan. Imagine your income as like a pie, right?
Okay, I like pie.
So each slice of that pie represents a piece of your debt. The bigger those debt slices get, the more lenders start sweating.
So if we're talking about this $4,431.17 monthly payment, how big a slice are we talking?
Well, let's say you're making $100,000 a year. With this mortgage, your debt-to-income ratio would be a crazy 61%.
Oh, no.
Most lenders wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
So you're saying even if you're pulling in six figures, this starter home might be out of reach?
Sadly, yeah. Even if you bump that income up to $150,000, you're still at a 41% ratio. Still pretty risky for most lenders.
And a high debt-to-income ratio doesn't just affect getting the loan, right? It also impacts your overall financial flexibility.
For sure. I mean, think about all the other things you need to pay for. Groceries, gas, healthcare, putting some money aside for a rainy day.
It's like a constant financial tightrope walk. It really is. And that's the crux of this affordability crisis.